full-page ad in major U.S. newspapers last year criticizing U.S. foreign policy. What would you do differently, Donald?
I'd make our allies, forgetting about the enemies you can't talk to so easily, I'd make our allies pay their fair share. We're a debtor nation. Something's going to happen over the next number of years with this country, because you can't keep going on losing $200 billion, and yet we let Japan come in and dump everything right into our markets and everything. It's not free trade. If you ever go to Japan right now and try to sell something, forget about it, Oprah. Just forget about it. It's almost impossible. And hey, I have tremendous respect for the Japanese people. I mean, you can respect somebody that's beating the hell out of you, but they are beating the hell out of this country. Kuwait, they live like kings. The poorest person in Kuwait, they live like kings. And yet they're not paying. We make it possible for them to sell their oil. Why aren't they paying us 25% of what they're making? It's a joke.
This sounds like political presidential talk to me, and I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not, but I do get tired of seeing the country ripped off.
Why would you not?
I just don't think I really have the inclination to do it. I love what I'm doing. I really like it.
Also, it doesn't pay as well.
No, it doesn't. But, you know, I just probably wouldn't do it, Oprah. I probably wouldn't, but I do get tired of seeing what's happening with this country. And if it got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally, because I really am tired of seeing what's happening with this country, how we're really making other people live like kings, and we're not.
You've said, though, that if you did run for president, you believe you'd win.
Well, I don't know. I think I'd win. I tell you what, I wouldn't go in to lose. I've never gone in to lose in my life. And if I did decide to do it, I think I'd be inclined, I would say that I would have a hell of a chance of winning, because I think people, I don't know how your audience feels, but I think people are tired of seeing the United States ripped off. And I can't promise you everything, but I can tell you one thing: this country would make one hell of a lot of money from those people that for 25 years have taken advantage. It wouldn't be...
Made this video is a rock star. I literally almost teared a little bit. And Nick was watching me, so that's why I did.
At real Donald Trump, at least I will go down as a president.
And I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Never got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally.
A new world order. These allegations are false. Weapons of mass destruction. The USA Patriot. The blueprint for large corporations.
We once were, we are no longer a Christian nation.
Donald Trump confirmed that he is considering a run in 2016.
Do it.
I am officially running for President of the United States.
He will never be President of the United States.
Donald Trump will never be elected President of the United States.
People are watching these results come in.
Donald Trump will be the 45th President of the United States.
Why Harris?
Well, Trump is a racist. That's the number one. He's a racist. He told 3 American women to go back to where they came from.
3 American women?
Yes.
Who was that?
Oh, that's when he was president.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's when he was president.
So tell me something you like about Trump and something you don't like about Harris.
Something I like about Trump: Border Patrol.
Immigration policies,
yes,
that's big.
Immigration policies. I think the way that he stands strong on that, I love that. And especially what's going on in Colorado, I'm kind of shaky about how Harris can handle that.
Tell me something you don't like about Kamala.
That I do not like about her? Oh, her immigration policy. We don't know what it is. Yeah, we don't know what it is.
Do you know any of her policies at this point?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's see. Who knows her policies, really?
Yeah, she didn't list them.
You mad?
It says that?
Are you mad? Yes, it says Kamala. You're smart.
You're the only stupidest one.
Girl, be quiet. Oh, man.
Kamala doing okay?
Nope. She's down, Joe. I think they found out that she's retarded, and now we're basically fucked. Trump is killing us at the polls, so yes, we're going to lose Joe.
Damn it. Wait. What if I come back to run again?
As candidate?
Yeah.
Well, let me put it this way, Joe. The only person in this world who is even more retarded than Kamala Harris is basically you. So no, Joe,
on, man.
You're
Just
not going
give
back
another
yet.
shot.
Let's let it all play out. Okay, we'll talk later, Joe.
Okay.
Women looking fine up in here.
Detroit like he was today, and he basically told black voters, what the hell do you have to lose? I'm probably the only person in the universe, the Democrats, that said, did you hear what he just said? He's ready to engage and talk to black voters as if, and this was about policy. Now imagine the Democrats are taking the black vote for granted, the young vote for granted, certain other voters for granted. And somebody all of a sudden want to have an engaging conversation with you. That's how Trump won. He was able to talk to voters that Democrats stopped talking to.
Tonight, President Trump unveiling Opportunity Zones, a new policy he says will build up communities in need by giving investors tax breaks to invest in low-income areas.
Our goal is to ensure that America's great new prosperity is broadly shared by all of our citizens.
But tonight, questions about whether the Trump and Kushner family businesses could benefit. Both Ivanka and Jared Kushner have pushed for the program, and today Ivanka was by her father's side and tweeted, all Americans, regardless of zip code, should have the opportunity to experience the American dream. At issue, the Kushner family already owns real estate on the Jersey Shore, but spent an extra $13 million in Long Branch after the area was deemed an opportunity zone. Kushner has projects in other opportunity zones, including Jersey City and Maryland, that could get a boost in value. And he set up a fund to make more investments in the plan, all raising the question, who really profits?
We don't know yet what the Trumps or the Kushners or some of their friends would do, but we know they're in a position, given where many of their properties are, to stand to make a whole lot of money.
Today, Ben Carson, the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, defended the Trump family.
The opportunity zones were chosen by the governors of the 50 states, the District of Columbia, and our 5 territories. Had nothing to do with Ivanka Trump or Jared or anybody else.
Neither the Kushner company nor the White House responded to requests for comment, but there are growing calls from lawmakers for oversight. Kristen Welker, NBC News, the White House.
Talked about is what she's going to give people. She's going to give people all this stuff. We're going to give you a $25,000 tax credit to buy a house. It don't matter if you give these people $25,000, they're not going to buy a house. They're not going to do it. Everybody wants something for free. You know, that's what the Democrats think. If we give you something, you'll vote for us. I don't need a handout. I need an opportunity.
So you may not know, but you will appreciate I'm the first vice president to grow chili peppers at the vice president.
Okay, come on.
Including Scotch bonnet peppers. Come on now.
Real. When you wake up and see the light.
And I've also learned one thing about Donald Trump supporters and Republicans in general. See, it used to be, I thought they were intolerant. I thought they were the ones who were racist and closed-minded. But it turns out it was the other way around. Because when I was in 2016 voting for Hillary Clinton, I was working in a small office then. The majority of the people I was working with were Republican. They had no problem with me saying that I was supporting Hillary Clinton. Not one of those people treated me any differently because I thought differently than them. But the minute you turn away from that, I don't agree with what the Democratic Party is doing anymore. I don't stand for that anymore. The minute you do that, the Democrats have a problem with it. But they're the ones preaching tolerance. They're the ones preaching acceptance. They're the ones talking about the hatred on the other side, when really the hatred is on their side.
I love everybody. Creators Heidi Joy Anderson. Give her a follow.
You've been criticized by him and others for your lack of engagement to the black church.
They are trying to scare people away because they know they otherwise have nothing to run on. Ask Donald Trump what his plan is for Black America. Ask him. What, you know, I'll tell you what it is. Look at Project 2025. He's selling $60 Bibles or tennis shoes. Mm-hmm. And trying to play people as though that makes him more understanding of the black community. Come on.
And make me go, whoa. This is one of them, all right? This is the Democratic margin among black men under the age
of 45 in presidential elections. You go back to November of 2012, what do you see? You see Obama by 81. Clinton only won him by 63. Then we're all the way down to Biden last time around by 53. A tremendous drop already. And then you take a look at the average of the most recent polls, and Kamala Harris is up by only 41 points. That is about half the margin that Obama won them by back in November of 2012. And this, I think, is, when Barack Obama goes in last week when he was in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, essentially talking to young black men, he made it seem like it was a Kamala Harris specific problem. This is part of a long-standing trend of young black men moving away from the Democratic Party, and Kamala Harris is just the latest to face that magnitude of younger black men going towards the Republicans.
That was most interesting here is the trend line and where some of the biggest drops happened or already happened in this case. How about black men overall?
How about black men overall? It's part of the same picture. We're looking once again, if younger black men, it looks like the worst Democratic performance since 1960, since JFK versus Richard Nixon. It's the same thing among black men overall. Again, part of a similar trend, but here actually the drop-off isn't as dramatic, right? Barack Obama won him by 85. Then you see 71 with Clinton, 69. Biden, basically the same thing, holding steady. But here, again, very, very weak. Only a 54-point margin. Now, again, still winning them by a large margin, but considerably lower than what we're used to, certainly considerably lower what we had during the Obama years. The bottom line is Kamala Harris with younger black men and then black men overall putting in historically weak performance for a Democratic
candidate. Is she getting any relief with black women?
All right. So, we're talking about the trend line, right? And black women, look, she's doing better with black women than she is doing among black men. But here, there isn't a trend line almost until we get to Kamala Harris. So again, this is a black margin among black women. Look, Obama won him by 93, very large margin. Clinton won him by 93, a very large margin. Biden did a little bit worse at 85. But then you look here, and you get a 71-point margin. Now, again, these are large margins, but the bottom line is when you're talking about the base of the Democratic Party, you would think that Kamala Harris would do very well among black women based upon history. And of course, she would be the first black woman president, but she's actually doing the worst for a Democratic candidate among black women since 1960.
A black father is going viral for teaching his young daughter how to dance like Trump. Dancing in the moonlight, gazing at the stars so bright, holding you until... This is why they hate the man so much. He can't be controlled. You can't put him in a box. He's breaking all the rules. The Republicans are going to win the black vote. This isn't the first time either that Donald Trump's inspired a dance. Here's a boy Aiden Ross. And other notable contestants.
Want to act like Trump is the worst motherfucker in the world, but guess what? He was already president, and all this shit you talking about didn't happen. He didn't make himself a dictator, and this whole shit about he's going to make himself a dictator is really taken so out of context that it's ridiculous. He said he'd make himself a dictator on the first day, to implement some shit, and then, but that was, trust me, said tongue in cheek. It was not said seriously. Y'all already living in Project 2024. Okay, you worried about Project 2025 when they already ran Project 2020 on you with the scandemic and all that fucking bullshit. Like, what the fuck are y'all really even talking about? Y'all trying to act like scare me into thinking that he's so bad that I should just vote for this broad just because. But guess what? I feel that she's so bad. She's the one that scares me. So I feel that she's so bad that guess what? I might just go around and vote for Trump. And this is my first time saying this out loud. But y'all motherfuckers think you're going to shame somebody or bully it into voting for this? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And now you're going to make me be Mr. Anti. You keep coming at me with this bullshit. You keep coming at me talking about, oh, it's a shame that you're not supporting a black woman. She's not black. She's Indian. She ain't black. out of here.
Pleasure to introduce the first senator, and I'm not going to say this, the first senator of Indian American heritage in the history of U.S. Senate.
So it's been a really long week. And I'm really glad to be here. But I want to thank you. And my chitti is here, my mother's youngest sister, Chinni Mahalakshmi Subhash is here, and I want to thank her. She flew in from Toronto to be with us this evening. Please, Chitti, will you wave?
Kamala Harris. The Indian community will most definitely not be voting for you. Specifically because you think everybody deserves the same income no matter what profession? Bitch, that is communism! What kind of anti-American bullshit are you trying to sell us? All Indians know that you must study and work very hard to afford Tesla. How dare you try to take away all our hard work and studying to become doctor or engineer? The Indian community has worked far too long and hard to not become regional Slurpee manager at 7-Eleven. Kamala, as the CEO of Indians, I revoke your presidential campaign. You will never be able to run for office in a democratic nation ever again. Especially Prime Minister of India. But shit, you can run against Putin, since you're communist. Don't act like us. Don't act like us. Don't act like us.
They're gonna, listen, I don't give a f. Trust me, the sentiment on the street in the real world is a lot of people are not with this woman. They see right through her. And they're trying to blame it on black men, but no, I see a lot of black women that are not with her neither.
My name is Jasmine Woodson.
Hi, my name is Silo.
I'm Karen Watson.
I'm Yolanda Johnson from Georgia.
This is BB Diamond from New York City.
I'm Dana Galen, and I'm from Tampa, Florida.
I live in Hagerstown, Maryland.
Out here in Maricopa County.
Kalamazoo County, Michigan.
I am a proud African immigrant living in Florida.
I'm from the great state of New Jersey.
I'm Angelina from Philly, and this November, I am not voting for Kamala Harris.
I am not voting for Kamala Harris.
I'm not voting for Kamala Harris.
I am not with Kamala Harris.
I am not with her.
I'm not with her.
I am not with Kamala Harris.
I'm not with Kamala.
I am not for Kamala. I am for Donald Trump.
I am not with Kamala. I am not with her because she is not with me.
I support President Trump and the economic policies our country experienced under his leadership as our 45th president.
President Trump will support our law enforcement agencies and fund them appropriately.
Donald Trump made me proud to be an American.
I'm with Donald J. Trump.
We need a leader who can make America great again.
Trump puts Americans first, and he always will.
We need Donald Trump.
I and millions of other Black Americans will cast my vote for Donald J. Trump.
I will proudly cast my vote for Donald J. Trump as our next president.
Let's make America great again.
This is her again being disingenuous. First of all, black people don't wash no damn greens in no tub. How unsanitary are you to be washing collard greens in a tub and thinking that that makes you more relatable?
A friend who had a Christmas party, Christmas Eve every year, and she asked me to make the greens for a party every year. And I am not lying to you that I would make so many greens that I'd need to wash them in the bathtub. I'm telling you the truth.
So how do you make your greens? Do you put turkey in them? Do you
bacon.
Nice. My grandma
I do
used to
bacon.
Put bacon. She put
garlic.
vinegar.
I put white vinegar. Yes. I do. So I start with, I slice up my garlic. But no, first I chop up the bacon and get all that fat going. Then I put garlic, some chili peppers, and then a lot of water and a little chicken stock. And I let it go for a while before I put the greens in. And then, right, so you get that going and all that flavor. And then I put the greens in for a couple hours. Then I do vinegar, and then I cheat and do a little Tabasco.
No, that's okay.
Yeah, but Tabasco of all, like I like Louisiana hot sauce, but Tabasco has that right amount of vinegar. Yeah, and so that's how I do my greens.
I see why you get invited every year.
Laverne Spicer, and today I watched a video on Twitter or X, whichever one you like, and Kamala was talking about cooking greens with bacon. Now, anybody that cooks greens know that most people that do collard greens are going to use smoked turkey or smoked ham or any type of smoked meat, right? So if you lying about little shit like that, how in the hell you think we supposed to believe the other shit that come out your mouth? Because you just a lying ass, just straight to the point. Just a lying motherfucker. First of all, what you should be doing is your job as the border czar. Go close that motherfucking border and stop letting all them damn illegals come over here. We have Venezuelan gangs that are reaping havoc in Colorado. They have taken over several apartments. They have AKA assault weapons, all kind of high powered rifles and guns. They also tried to hijack the school bus. Okay, people, get ready, because it started there, but this shit is spreading across the United States. Do you think it's just going to come to certain neighborhoods? Because no, it's not. This shit going to come to your motherfucking doorstep too.
How out of touch she is. How stupid she is. She thought she was giving a relatable story to make her seem black. Oh, yeah. Oh, they want me to cook their collard green. They bring me all their collard greens in the neighborhood. I had so many greens, I had to wash them in the tub. You know, just like she was in the. And there's a you better thank a union member. You better thank a union member. You know, she talking all black, but then when she get in front of the Spanish people, they said, "I love you, Kamala." She said, "I love you too. I love you too." Then when she gets in front of the white people, you know, you better thank a union member for everything that you have, because, you know, union members are very, you know, they're part of the economy. Like, who are you? Who are you? Trump is always Trump. I don't give a if you like him or not. He's always him. If he says he's going to say some arrogant shit, yup. He's going to say some arrogant shit. Sometimes he says some shit off the cuff. Yup. He does do that. But this motherfucker is a smart businessman. And I hate the people that say, "Oh, he's been bankrupt this many times." That's what smart businessmen do. First of all companies are not made to last. Some companies are made to be disposable. But y'all don't know that because you're not business people like that. You don't know, first of all, and people that are successful, you know how many failures they've had in order to be successful? Like, all your failures prep you for your success. Like, how are you going to say this man's a failure and he became the president of the United States?
We have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. That seems to be more pronounced with the brothers.
Wow, they must really be terrified. They didn't brought out the big guns, Obama. They're starting to realize that more and more of us have been waking up and seeing how they try to get us to vote, not for the person who's best for our communities and who has the best policies that are going to bring positive change, but they want us to vote based on skin color. We see how Kamala Harris did black men when she was the top cop in California Jamal Truelove. We see how she locked up a single black mother because her child missed too much school, when in reality, the child had sickle cell anemia and was in the hospital. We see how she was brought in as the first black woman vice president, played a part in our cost of living going up, our groceries going up, our gas going up, our border being let open for the entire world to come in, and people who've come here illegally getting preferential treatment over people who've been in these communities for decades. Our children being put last, illegal immigrants' children being put first. We see how the media told us that Trump was going to be the one to start World War III, and how under the Biden-Harris administration, we're on the brink of it. We see how the Democrat Party has failed our community, how they've hidden their history of trying to continue slavery, trying to keep blacks from voting, trying to keep Jim Crow going, being the party of the Klan. We see
Democrats, and I'm sorry to say this, I'm not trying to be racist, but they hate black people. These are the same people who fought to keep slavery in. These are the same people who built the KKK. These are the same people who hated us from the beginning. The Republican Party is the party of the blacks. Blacks free, the Republican Party is the only party that the black people actually assisted in finding. But all of that history has been torn away. People say, oh, there was this big switch. There was never a big switch. There was never a big switch. So the same Democrats who hated black people from the beginning are the same ones who hate us now. And they use our cause. How did Black Lives Matter turn into something about LGBTQ? When blacks really don't support that. We're conservative. We're really not about that. Not only that, we don't support abortion. We're about work. This is the black culture. Not only that, we're not about feminism. No, we're not. Black women marry their husbands and respect their husbands. That's what we on. We're not on this, oh, I do what I want. We don't do that. That's not our community.
Happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. Five score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. This nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of
how they would take us out. And I ain't talking about to eat when we chose to vote Republican. We see how they have Planned Parenthood buses outside of their conventions.
A new direction to manage an immigration crisis in a tough time where there's all this upheaval all over the world, where there are border problems all over the world, where millions of people are trying to escape the misery they're in. And other people are saying, well, I want to do what I can and take what I can, but maybe there's a limit to how much we can do. In other words, I don't think Americans are anti-immigration, they're anti-chaos, right? They don't want us to do more than we can, but they recognize, at least most people do, we got the lowest birth rate we've had in well over 100 years. We're not at replacement level, which means we got to have somebody come here if we want to keep growing the economy. Case in Georgia not very long ago, didn't you? They made an ad about a young woman who'd been killed by an immigrant. Yeah, well, if they'd all been properly vetted, that probably wouldn't have happened. But if they're all properly vetted, and that doesn't happen, and America is not having enough babies to keep our populations up, so we need immigrants that have been vetted to do work, there wouldn't be a problem. And he couldn't keep people all torn up and upset.
Ay, tú te vas a dejar entonces sabotear la nalga. Saliste así para el video. Te vas a volver viral porque te tocaron la nalga. Yo no tengo culpa, estaba grabando.
Man, eso va para TikTok.
Ajá.
And target our community. How insulting is it that this man gets up there and tells us that we should vote for Kamala because we're black? Sorry, Obama, the gig is up. It's over.
She's announcing this new economic policy now.
Well, because most folks don't know what her economic policy is. So to come out with something, especially targeting black men, we need to know that.
Yeah,
right?
that's just like you telling somebody, well, if you come over here, I'll give you that. It's more so in the hindsight.
Right.
You know, vote for me, and this is what is going to happen.
And do you think that those promises are always kept?
No, it's a whole no.
Why do you think she's doing it now, and why not before?
Because she's trying to get voted. That's why. But why does it target black men? Why can't it just be for anybody?
Of course, it's for election purposes. There's a lot of promises made. There's a lot of back scratching, if you will, just to try to get the vote.
Right.
But if we don't really look into it before we say yes, just because of that, we could be making a mistake.
That's new to me. That's some good news.
Why do you think she's doing it now?
Trump, but I like that though. That'll get a black man to vote for you for sure. But us black men.
But why now? You said you're going to vote for Trump, but why now?
Because us black men, when Trump was in office, us black people, it was easier for us to survive.
Message is for President Obama. First and foremost, you're not going to tell me what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do. Number one, I ain't going to vote for Kamala Harris. I think that she's going to make a bad president. She's a bad vice president. Everything she does, she tries to politicize it, and she hasn't shown the fact that she wants to put America first ever. So I'm not voting for that individual.
And unleash Barack Obama into the wild to shame us black men for not supporting Kamala Harris, despite the fact that she's yet to unveil any policies that represent our interests. But if it was a white politician shaming other white men for not voting based on identity politics, y'all will call him racist. Why is it okay for Barack Obama, Kamala Harris, and all these other people that supposedly look like me? Why is it okay for them to get on TV and shame me for not voting for them simply because they look like me? That is racist, brother. I don't know how else to put it. That is racism. I don't have to vote for Kamala because she's quote unquote black. Just like I shouldn't have voted for yo because you got up there, you tap dance for the establishment, and you ain't do a goddamn for the black people that put you in office.
See the play? Kamala Harris is losing. She's not going to win.
The audacity of you to say to us that we are required and we better vote for Kamala Harris and that we don't want to see a woman in a position of power. You're a liar.
Who you voting for?
Trump.
Come on, bro. Harris does backwards, bro.
What?
Harris.
Man, we not voting for that, man. We voting for Trump, man.
And who you voting for, Trump or Kamala?
Man, Trump. We ain't that Indian ass, man.
Who, Kamala?
Yeah, we ain't.
Why you don't with her?
Cause she them immigrants. I'm black.
So why you ride with Trump so much?
Them Venezuelans taking all our bread.
Hey, Trump or Kamala?
Trump, to be honest.
Why Trump though?
He used to keep immigrants out, so you know we was able for us to get jobs. It's hard for us to get jobs now because immigrants taking over. And they do it better than us though, but they taking our man.
Alright, so this election around, you voting for Trump?
Hell yeah, Miller for her. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm not for her. Her ass Venezuelans, that over with. I don't with her.
Like, what would make you want to vote for Kamala?
I ain't gonna lie, we was the last two people on earth. Still wouldn't do that shit. Damn. On bro grave.
It's like that?
Yeah, it's like that. I don't with her.
I go with Trump. She ain't no good. I'll put it like that. So whoever wanna believe and go in her, check her history. Y'all turn around then.
So you wouldn't vote for a black woman? It's gonna be the first black woman in office.
Let me tell you something, man. Ain't no man is gonna listen to no woman. Period. Not in y'all country or my country or another country. There's no man gonna listen to no woman.
I mean, but we can make history.
Man, we could, but it's not gonna be history, bro. That's gonna start World War III soon she get in.
Kamala or Trump? Trump?
Yeah.
Come on, bro. Kamala till it's backwards,
man,
bro.
Man, what is it? Kamala, we voting for Trump, but what are you talking about?
Are you better off under Trump's economy?
Yeah. Thank you. I love you too.
4 years ago, you could give us half the price. And it's nuts. I was better off 4 years ago than now.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
How would I put it? The money stretched a little bit further.
This is inflation. This is TikTok. This is inflation. This is what's happened.
Everything is high. Everything is high. The cost of living in America is still just too high.
Is the price of groceries still too high? Yes.
Groceries are still too high. Everyday things like groceries are still too high.
Chicken used to be the cheapest thing you could buy. Now it's the highest thing.
Chicken is way up.
Gas prices are high. Groceries are extremely high.
The American dream right now is really elusive for far too many people.
Put a businessman in office, you tend to do a little bit better.
Hate him or love him, he was good with the economy.
The greatest economy in the history of the world, which is what we gave you before.
Safe to say you're voting for Trump?
Yeah, and I'm a Democrat. Once he left, everything shot up. I don't know what happened, but you can bring him back.
Please.
For real.
Kamala, you're fired. Get out of here. You're fired. Get the hell out of here.
Nobody likes Kamala Harris. Even the kids is mocking her right now, especially when she do these interviews. I grew up in a middle class. Check this out.
Hey Jenny, did you do your chores today?
Well, I grew up in a middle-class family. My mom, she was Indian, and I grew up in a middle-class family, and we are proud of our generation, and we all had small, little towns, and we all grew up having small shops.
Jenny, did you finish your schoolwork yet?
I grew up in a middle-class family, and we had small businesses. It was great.
Jenny, I thought I told you to take out the dog.
Well, I grew up in the middle-class family, and we made collard greens, but they were so popular that we made them in the bathtub.
Make sure y'all hit that subscribe button.
Suck any good lately. What's wrong, Navarro? I think you like a big in your mouth. Ha ha ha. Page 23. The other boy, page 23. Here it is. What's the educational benefit of talking about the what's the educational benefit of talking about that? Is that going to help someone on the SAT score? Hear me kind. Get a shot at that. She can care less. That's a sign. She needs to put down her sign. What's that? Oh, you're putting me out. For what? For asking you to abide by the rules. A board member held up a sign, but the audience couldn't hold up signs. This is tyranny, and we're dealing with a corrupt government system.
I say this. I teach 7th grade. They are still performing on the 4th grade level.
7th grade English teacher here. I teach in Northern Houston, and I teach at one of the more affluent schools. When I tell you that these babies cannot read, they cannot write, and they cannot comprehend, I'm not being funny. I'm being dead serious. It doesn't exist. I have kids constantly asking me, how do I spell window? How do I spell important? How do I spell though? And they be serious. They're dead serious. I could ask them, who is the main character of your story? The story of 4-paragraph story we just read. Can't tell you. They don't know. They don't know. They don't know. It took us 4 weeks to get through how to answer a question in a complete sentence.
Don't try to kill yourself. Life is worth living. Life is worth living, miss. Don't try to kill yourself. Get up. Life is worth living. Get up. Get up. Get up. You are worth it. God is going to bless you tremendously. You have another day to live. Okay? Hell is not for you, okay?
Johnny goes back to Brooklyn. Joe's out and Kamala's in. What do you think of her?
If we was to have a terrorist attack, I don't think she would know what to do. Well, Trump, we already know what Trump would do.
What would he do?
Trump would get rid of him.
What do you mean?
The idea was that there's this movement called Black Lives Matter.
That just sounds weird. I didn't know that you put a name on.
You accidentally shot yourself
that day.
Yeah.
That I shot myself. The police, I was the only person in the house.
Right.
Police came through there. They knocked the doors down. I was on the floor.
Right.
They jumped over. They all hopped over and went looking for the drugs and looking for this and that. It was a white police that came, ran up there and stopped and said, "What the are y'all doing? Do y'all not see this baby on the floor?" Picked me up, brought me to the hospital. He said, "Don't worry, my name's Uncle Bob." He was white as snow. That hopped over me was blacker than me.
Was he a cop?
Yeah, he was a cop, and my life was saved by a white man. I don't know what racism is.
Add that to the pile of smears and stupidity. That's next. If Lizzo, Usher, and Oprah aren't enough to boost Kamala's standing in the polls, well, Democrats hope Marshall Mathers and some lame rap will do the trick.
Can the real Slim Shady please stand up?
Vice President Harris supports a future for this country where these freedoms and many others will be protected and upheld. And here to tell you much more about that, President Barack Obama.
My palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, vomit on my sweater already, mom's spaghetti. I'm nervous, but on the surface I look calm and ready to drop bombs, but I keep bomb forgetting.
I still cannot quite place that accent. Is it Maui, Cambridge, Martha's Vineyard? Joining me now, Lee Habib, nationally syndicated radio host, former executive producer, co-founder of the Laura Ingraham radio show. All right, Habib, I have been dying to talk to you all day about this. Now, Marshall Mathers and his story, I mean, he is the working man's kind of, guy, right? So doesn't that have a lot of cred with the working people?
Well, he played a factory worker in 8 Mile, the movie that was about his life, but he never actually worked in a factory. And look, Laura, he's made hundreds of millions of dollars. And if he really wanted to be in touch with the working men and women of this country, he should visit an actual factory. Visit some frackers. Visit some guys in the refineries. Find out what they think, because they're running to Trump. Look, he's a terrific talent. Marshall Mathers, Eminem, whoever he is. But, I'm hoping that maybe P. Diddy gets thrown out of jail and they can do a misogyny tour together. Why does Kamala think that this guy who hates women and actually normalized violence against women would be a good call for this campaign? Is about as bizarre as bringing Bruce Springsteen out for what? Is this the 8th presidential campaign Springsteen's been hauled out on?
Wait, he's also kind of the working man's, hero, correct? You're from Jersey. How many times have you seen Springsteen? I can't even count how many times you've seen him.
Probably 30, Laura.
Yeah.
30. But here's the interesting thing. He's from Monmouth County. He was born there in Freehold Township, and he now lives in Colts Neck. In Colts Neck, 2-1, the residents are going for Trump. Monmouth County, they're going for Trump. The guy who wrote My Hometown is against the people in his hometown. You can't make it up. And on the working class front, Laura, think about Born in the USA. The Vietnam vet goes off. He comes back. This is the narrator in the song. And one of my favorite lines, come back home to the refinery. Hiring man says, son, if it was up to me. Why doesn't Bruce talk to the refinery workers of America? There was an article in Reuters 2 weeks ago. The union leader who remained unnamed for fear of his own life said the rank and file oil refinery workers are overwhelmingly in support of, well, of course, Donald Trump. Why doesn't Bruce get to know these working class folks he purports to care about? Bruce wrote a lot about factory life, wrote about caring about factory workers, but they're siding with the other guy that's dangerous. He calls Trump dangerous. But I'll tell you this, the oil workers of this country, they think that Kamala Harris is dangerous for their livelihoods and for their lives.
And Habib, all these women voters who are, trying to figure out if they're undecided, maybe they don't like some of Trump's comments and so forth. But the Kamala Harris team is saying, well, Trump's vulgar and crude. Given everything you know about the celebrities that are supporting Kamala Harris, and look, rap's lyrics are what they are, but clean and uplifting are not always the adjectives that some mothers and young people, maybe Christians, would say they are, right? So they really care about crudeness. I mean, let's go back to some of Eminem's lyrics.
Yeah, I mean, they don't really care about the crudeness, Laura. What really fascinates me here is all of these stars, De Niro, Streep, Eminem, Oprah. I always thought artists were rebels. I always thought artists took chances. They're sheep, Laura. They're boring. I mean, it's just boring at this point. And I hate being bored by my favorite artists. These are real life issues.
Yeah.
Both of these guys who purport to be for the working men and women are completely out of touch with the working men and women of this country. And by the way, Marshall Mathers should be ashamed because the Democrat Party destroyed the city of Detroit, 50 straight years of rule, and Detroit filed for bankruptcy in 2010. Why Marshall Mathers isn't with us, given the city he loved being decimated by the party he's supporting? Well, only Marshall Mathers, Eminem, Slim Shady. I guess a guy with 3 names has a hard enough time making up his own mind about who he is each day, Laura.
Well, all I can say is when I work out, sometimes it is to Eminem, okay? But I mean, it's just not to Lizzo necessarily, but Lee, the working man's blues, all right? Glory days have maybe passed some of them by.
Here's a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems since he rode down his golden escalator 9 years ago. It has been a constant stream of gripes and grievances that's actually been getting worse now that he's afraid of losing to Kamala. There's the childish nicknames, the crazy conspiracy theories, this weird obsession with crowd sizes. It just goes on and on and on. The other day I heard someone compare Trump to the neighbor who keeps running his leaf blower outside your window every minute of every day.
Sorry, Obama, I'm a black man and I'm voting for Donald Trump for president, and there is no amount of lecturing or bullying or shaming that you can do that is going to make me change that decision. I am not afraid to vote for Kamala Harris because she is a woman. I refuse to vote for Kamala Harris because she has spent the last 4 years destroying this country. She has spent the last 4 years throwing up the borders to illegal immigrants. She has spent the last 4 years destroying this economy. We have seen over the past couple of months that she is not fit to be president. She can barely speak. She can't articulate a vision. And actually, she's pretty stupid. And if you think that I, as a black man, am going to let that waltz into the White House, that is going to get my vote because you're lecturing me and you're bullying me, and you may be the surrogate black dad for a lot of fatherless black boys that are running around this country. But I got a dad. I know who he is, and it ain't you. I'm voting for Donald Trump for president. Take it or leave it. Sorry, Obama.
We have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. And I'm speaking to men directly now. Part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that.
Well, it's sad but true. Some of my brothers have been drinking that Kool-Aid. And I just hope that they get their minds straight, get their minds right in time for this election.
He's got a problem with men, and it just got a whole lot worse. A stunning new poll from the University of Georgia shows that less than 30% of Georgia men support Harris for president. That same poll revealing that just 1 in 5 black Georgia voters are undecided. Many probably won't vote. So Spike Lee's telling the brothers to get it together.
Some of my brothers have been drinking that Kool-Aid. And I just hope that they get their minds straight, get their minds right in time for this election. And I got to give credit to President Obama because he's been going really hard on the brothers. Don't go for the okey doke, the flim flam. Can't do that. We got to support our sister to become the first woman president of the United States of America and the first sister.
But black men are tired of being talked down to, and they're tired of being played.
I feel like her message is disingenuous. She's trying to pander to black people. Just tell us she has a lot of issues underneath her administration. Just be honest about it.
I think they assume that we're all stupid because they don't even really come out and campaign really in Detroit because they feel like they have our vote already.
I think Trump will get 35 to 40% of the black vote.
Trump's a businessman. A lot of black men want to be entrepreneurs. They can relate to Trump in the way they want to make money. They want to have a business.
He did a lot for us the first time, so I'm expecting him to do the same thing this time.
Not only is Kamala taking black men for granted, her policies are punishing them.
At this point now, I'm desperate. So I'm willing to try anything right now to make sure that I can fulfill my responsibility and to take care of my wife and kids. That's all I care about.
Knowles is a union auto worker, one of 1,100 just laid off by Stellantis, the parent company of Chrysler Jeep. He blames corporate greed the most, but doesn't stop there.
The second blame, I will put it on Joe Biden and the Democratic Party. Why? Because of the EV mandates. I thought the Democratic Party was for the working class, people, the average Joe like me.
Kamala is also running behind with Hispanics, so she's bribing them with cash, just like she did with blacks. $20,000 forgivable loans, $25,000 checks for first-time homebuyers, and a $6,000 child tax credit. She's literally cutting checks to minorities to save her hide. Trump isn't promising welfare checks, just the American dream.
And you didn't pander to us. You gave us opportunity, and that's what we want. You know, we want the American dream. My mother was born in Mexico. My dad was born in Brooklyn with very humble means, and they worked very hard and achieved the American dream. And I got a front row seat of how much you cared about the Latino community, and you delivered results.
Even though Joe and Kamala are bribing college grads with loan bailouts, young voters are voting early for 45. Watch.
Who are you voting for?
Trump. Trump. Trump.
Trump, baby. Trump.
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 Yeah.
Trump.
I'm voting for Trump.
I'm voting for Trump. Donald Trump.
Trump. Trump. Trump. Trump.
Trump.
Trump.
Trump. Trump.
I'm voting for Trump, baby.
Go Trump. Let's go.
Donald Trump. I love Trump.
Trump. Trump. Trump. Trump.
Trump.
Trump. Donald Trump. Trump, of course. Trump. Trump. I'm definitely voting for Trump this year.
The New York Times is wetting the bed. Almost exactly equal shares of young men and women say they'll definitely vote in this election or have already done so. But since the spring of 2020, the share of young men identifying as registered Democrats has dropped by 7 percentage points, while those identifying as Republicans has increased by 7 points. It's a net shift of 14 points in just 4 years.
Are black men being lectured to? Why are black men being belittled in ways that no other voting group?
A tour of media to appeal to men.
They need to appeal to the needs of the voters. And so when I was a delegate for President Obama in both of his elections in Ohio, right now the vice president is down 11 points in Ohio, even though I fully expect President Trump to take Ohio as he did twice, but to be down 11 points compared to President Biden, that is a problem. But this other issue I want to bring up is a problem too. Why are black men being lectured to? Why are black men being belittled in ways that no other voting group? Now, a lot of love for former President Obama, but for him to single out black men is wrong. And some of the black men that I have talked to have their reasons why they want to vote a different way. And even if some of us may not like that, we have to respect it. So unless President Barack Obama is going to go out and lecture every other group of men from other identity groups, my message for Democrats is don't bring it here to black men who, by and large, don't vote much differently from black women.
I have the support of countless black men who are in elected positions, including I'm just this afternoon and 2 church visits today with the mayor of Atlanta. That being said, I think that you are absolutely right, that there is this narrative about what kind of support we are receiving from black men that is just not panning out.
Ay, tú te vas a dejar entonces sabotear la nalga.
Saliste así para el video. Te vas a volver viral porque te tocaron la nalga. Yo no tengo culpa, estaba grabando.
Maye, y eso va para TikTok.
Ajá.